I have to warn you, this next segment may change your opinion of medical doctors because I'm going to have fun with this and I'm going to be a little bit goofy. So please bear with me as we go through this. I want to make sure to have this be fun for you. All right, so we drive up to the drive-in at our favorite fast food stop and we lean out the window and say, "I'll have a #1 with cheese, please." And they say, "Thank you very much. Please go to the window. It's $4.58 and you can pick it up at the window." So we drive around, we pick it up. "Thank you very much. Oh, we've got to get that Coke." And we put that down and we drive out and we start to eat. So in goes the food. Now the first thing is we do is we grab our sandwich with the cheese. We start to masticate, which means to chew, and we swallow. Food goes down into our stomach. Now right here in our stomach, what happens is that it grinds it up and the acid comes on. And that acid starts to dissolve some of the bonds in the food. Now, the pancreas, which lives right over here, just to the right of your stomach, hears the food come down and leans over to the stomach. "Hey, what did he eat?" And the stomach says, "It's a #1 with cheese and a Coke." "Okay, thanks." So the pancreas reaches over, opens up its bin, and lo and behold, it has the enzymes to break down the food more completely. Now, I don't know if you ever played Pac-Man, but Pac-Man had these little round things with mouths that went around and tried to find the little balls and ate them. Well, I pictured these enzymes like those Pac-Men. So the pancreas pulls them out and they're kind of wild and crazy. They're looking for that food that they've got to break down. And the pancreas pulls out the enzymes for protein, carbohydrates, and fats and puts it in the little cage ready to go down inside the small intestine where it's going to break down the food. Now, realize that I talked about 3 different types of enzymes. There are really a couple more, but the main point here is that all food that you eat is broken down into protein, carbohydrates, or fats. That's all. 3 things. So, the difference between a salad with chicken strips and a #1 with cheese with a Coke is the amount of the carbohydrate, the amount of the fat, and the amount of the protein that's going to go into your bloodstream when you eat that food. So, here's the pancreas, he's listening, or she is listening, whatever, and they hear the stomach open up, and the food goes out the bottom of the stomach into the small intestine, which winds around right here in your stomach. So, pancreas says, there's the need for the enzymes. So, then the enzymes go down, and they find the food and they start attacking it. And I picture this like a whale carcass being hit on by sharks that are trying to beat up and tear apart that food. And the food's down there going, it's eating me, it's eating me, and getting broken down into smaller and smaller pieces until finally those pieces are so small that it can go across the small intestine where it goes into the bloodstream, into this thing we call the portal vein, and that flows back up here to the liver. Now the liver, which is right here in the right upper quadrant, is what cleans or detoxifies that food as it flows up and gets ready to go around into your body. And so it's pulling all those yucky things out like fertilizers and preservatives and that stuff and detoxifying the food on its way into the body. Now, the pancreas has a little window where it sees the energy, which is now the proteins, carbohydrates, and the building blocks, which are the amino acids from the protein, go by it. And so it looks out and says, there's the energy. I've got to tell the body. So the pancreas reaches up and pulls a little knob, and out into the bloodstream runs all these little carrier molecules. I think of them kind of like the mercury wing carriers that we used to see on the dimes. And that when they go into the blood and they go flying around in the bloodstream saying, "The energy is coming, the energy is coming, the energy is coming." And so the cells, which are all, of course, on the canal, the blood vessel, every cell in your body is right on a blood vessel, says, "Oh, yum, here comes the food." And they get all ready for the food or energy to flow through. Now realize what this means is that after you eat, a half hour later, you could draw your blood out and guess what you'd see inside your blood? That's right. You'd see your #1 with cheese floating through your bloodstream in the form of protein, carbohydrate, and fat. And frankly, a lot of it, because there's a lot of calories, which is a measure of the amount of energy in the #1 with cheese. This is in opposition to, say, if you'd eaten a salad with some chicken strips and a little oil and vinegar, what would happen is the same protein, carbohydrate, and cheese would be in the blood, but a far smaller amount, making it easier for your body to deal with the energy that suddenly is appearing and floating around inside the blood vessels. So what happens next? Well, now I'm a fat cell, and I'm on my canal side seat, and I'm looking down the bloodstream and watching things float by. Here come the little wing carriers. The energy is coming! The energy is coming! And so I get all ready. Ooh, great! And I get ready, and I'm looking, and here it comes. Here is the cheese, the fat portion of that floats by me. So, as a fat cell, I get my little net, I reach out, I grab it, and I pull it into my cell. Now, I picture a fat cell like a U-Haul trailer. There are a bunch of shelves that the energy is placed on. So what the fat cell does is pulls this out of the blood, reaches over, puts it on the storage unit, and then, as long as the little wing carriers are running through the bloodstream saying the energy is coming, gets ready again. Here comes some more energy in the form of triglycerides, which, of course, is the fat which comes from the hamburger and the cheese. Boom, grabs it, pulls it in, and puts it in storage. And this process just keeps on until the energy is being pulled out of the bloodstream to the degree that makes the pancreas happy. Now, when the pancreas sees that the energy level in the blood has dropped down enough, the pancreas quits releasing the insulin, and as a result, things settle down. But pretty soon, the muscles, the brain tissue, the organs, the bones, all those things are continuing to pull energy out of the blood in the form of glucose or sugar, which is the carbohydrate, or the fat, which is triglycerides and cholesterol, and the energy level in the blood starts to go down too low. Well, the pancreas, who's responsible for the energy level in the blood, says, not cool, reaches up, pulls another knob, and out come the glucagon. Now, I kind of picture glucagon as a bunch of little, maybe army men with their boots on, and they run out in the bloodstream, and they run along, and they say, fat cells, give up your energy. Fat cells, give up your energy. Fat cells, give up your energy. So here I am, I'm the fat cell, and I say, those guys downstairs, they cannot make up their mind. But, okay, I'm ready. So they reach over inside their cell, and they splash it back in the blood, and they splash it back in the blood. Now, the glucagon also acts on your liver, and your liver turns itself on and starts to make sugar and throw sugar out into your blood, and this is what keeps your sugar level constant. So the pancreas, the liver, the fat cells, they're all basically working in concert to make sure the energy level in your blood is constant. Okay, now I just went through this scenario for a person with a BMI, or a body mass index, of 25 or lower. Let's do the same thing again for a person with a BMI of 27 or higher. And in the game of health, we play the portly trailblazers and the couch potatoes that work together to try to overcome us to make the scenario I'm about to go through much more common. So here we go. Okay, we're driving up. I'll have the number 1 with cheese, please, and a Coke. That'll be $4.58. Drives around, $4.58, thank you. Sandwiches, okay, drives away. Starts masticating, swallow. Here's the pancreas. What'd they eat? It's a number 1 with cheese and a Coke. Okay, opens the drawers, gets out the enzymes, gets them all in the cage. They're all down there, they're ready to go down and eat their food. And the pancreas listens and opens the stomach, and the food flows down into the small intestine where it winds around. So the pancreas says, it's my time, and releases all those enzymes which go down and starts breaking down that food and breaking into smaller and smaller pieces so it can go into the portal vein. And the food's down there going, it's eating me, they're eating me, and getting smaller and smaller and smaller until it finally slips across the blood vessel into the portal vein, where it goes back up to the liver and is detoxified. Okay, so that's pretty much the same. But then the pancreas, seeing it go up the portal vein, says, I've got to warn the rest of the body. And it releases the insulin. Now, here's where things are a little different. Because those little insulin molecules run out into the body, the energy is coming, the energy is coming. And the fat cell now is absolutely stuffed with energy. And the fat cell goes, what are you talking about, the energy's coming? If they wanted energy, I've got 300 French fries, 45 hamburgers, and I probably have 20 Cokes stored right here inside my fat cell. why do they want me to take more up? There's no room in the inn. And so the insulin comes by and says, not my problem, not my problem. Get it out of the blood, we're going to go into a coma. Get it out of the blood, we're going to go into a coma. And the fat cells goes, and put it where? There's no room inside my fat cell. I don't know what to do with this. And this is what we call the metabolic syndrome or insulin resistance, where the blood has extra energy, the cells don't want that extra energy, and it gets stuck, and they get in a fight. And the pancreas starts to put out more and more insulin, which runs around and says, come on guys, get going, get it out of the blood. And the fat cells are like, there's no more room. What do you not understand about this? And as this process builds up, you get a war going on. And that leads to heart attacks and strokes. Now, in between the food coming in and the heart attacks and strokes are oil, unacceptable sugar, and blood pressure going up, and those things we can identify and we can treat. So when you see those things, you know you're headed toward the heart attack and stroke. On the other hand, if you fix those things, you know you're protecting yourself from the heart attack and stroke, and the real key to fixing those things is the training and the oil, the exercise and the amount that you eat. All things that we're going to talk about after I take you into the blood vessel and we see what happens to our number one with cheese, and exactly how that leads to the heart attack